He's gonna give it a few minutes break. Okay.
You want your own too?
I don't live with her. Yeah, I don't live with her.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you, indulgence, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Yep. All right, thank you. I'd like to call the regular council meeting for September the 24th to order at 7:02. Councilors Miller and Miller hope to join us in progress, and Councilor Rash is on virtually, so we do have a quorum. So, first order of business for the agenda, call for community interest regarding the agenda. There's anything in the camera, so we're good to go there. Next item is the adoption of the previous minutes for the regular meeting, August 27th, and the committee of the whole for August 10th, September 10th, sorry. Go ahead.
Make a motion to.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sorry, we went to the minutes, which is deletions or additions, and we do have an agenda item.
Okay, and what is it?
Yes, bulk station, water bulk station.
What are you going to call that one?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. No, 8.4.
Okay. Are there any other additions or deletions? Okay. Get a motion to accept the agenda with the change for 8.4 as addition.
I'll move the agenda with the new additions.
Thank you. All in favor? Kelly, you're good?
Yes.
Sorry about that, and we'll go into now, the adoption. A little bit. Adoption for the previous minutes for August the 27th, regular meeting, September the 10th, the committee of the whole. Are there any errors or omissions that anybody would like to bring forward? If not, a motion to accept the adoption of those minutes.
Everything seems to be in order. I'll make that motion.
Tracy, all in favor?
Yes.
All right, we will get going into the old business, 7.1, proclamations for Q4. So what we do is, instead of do all the proclamations as they come, we do them every quarter. So, Don, would you like to run through that for us?
Thank you, Your Worship. For the October meeting of October 21st, 2023, that was the organizational meeting. We do quarterly proclamations, recognize days, weeks, months, and important dates of significance. Administration proposes the following proclamations provided to council at the October 21st, 2023 regular meeting. Those proclamations are Cybersecurity Awareness Month, October 2024, Small Business Week, October 13th, 2024 to October 19th, 2024, and Family Balance Prevention Month in November 2024. That takes care of our third quarter proclamation.
Thank you. Are there any other ones that anybody has or they want to add or nothing? No? Not if I get a motion to proclaim those dates.
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Tracy. In favor? That is carried. So we are on, I'll give you a second to record if you want.
Good.
Good?
I know where we are in the agenda, but I just have to put up. I I know what we're talking about.
Perfect. 7.2, recreational capital budget adjustment. Okay, Donna, you want to run through? I see Kelly's here,
For sure, Your Worship, I will ask Recreation Director Ms. Proby to provide this RFP information.
Thank you. Go ahead, Kelly.
So this has already been before council, so I'll just read the whole thing over and over again for you, but I understood you guys wanted more information was requested. So the actual specs of the units are attached, and then costing wise, so basically they're standalone units that will be mounted inside the weight room, the condenser room and outside portion. There'll be one on the gas studio side of the weight room, like where the wood floor is. There'll be one unit there, and then there'll be 2 units on the other side of the glass wall, as well as 2 standalone units in the library. I'm proposing or asking that we just reallocate our capital dollars from the building audit. We have 30,000 allocated for that, and then some flooring that we're going to do in green for 15,000. So that would give us 45,000 roughly for this project, and the total cost of the project is just under 34,000. So it does give us a little bit of buffer. The only electrical upgrades that could be required would be on the library side, because the panel on the library side is quite old. So that would be the one that we won't know until we move further with the quote. I did ask LTH to break out what the labor costs were versus the parts cost. That was a request. So in the weight room, the total labor cost is $5,900. The project is $21,000. The remainder is just for those units. And then the library total cost is just shy of $12,000, and that was $3,600 of labor. So, and I know we're past the heat.
Yeah,
but it's going to be, I mean, even in the weight room, they're still propping open the doors, and that is, honestly, it's such a huge problem. It might sound a little bit petty, but it is actually a huge problem. Every time they prop open the doors with weight, or they put stuff in the bracket, it's actually damaging our doors. So we already replaced a set of those doors on our building, and I think it was just shy of $10,000 for that project. So I would like to. And then we also have the problem of kids sneaking in through those propped open doors, and it happens all the time. So ideally, those doors would be closed and emergency exit only, so they would be alarmed. Right? You open the doors, you have to make thunder.
I see you've talked to Dean with the county, and he supports all this, right?
Yes, I talked to Dean with the county. He supported it both for the weight room and for the library.
Right.
I mean, our weight room is the budget, like we've already surpassed or very close to hitting our target for our membership sales for the year,
right,
which I think we substantially increased over last year. Like it is busy in there. So in the summer months, we die down to pretty quiet. So I think that will help keep it, sales will continue or stay busy through the summer months there. And then the library, I mean, we need a space. We should have a space where can escape the heat, a public facility, right? They can come to the rec center in the winter. If it's extreme cold, extreme heat, we actually don't have a space for them. And it's just not an option to do it in the rest of the building or field house.
And the library did have to close down a few times this summer because of the heat. It was too hot in the library.
It was brutally miserable. Yeah. So, so kind of, tackle both, and we're good for next year.
Comments, Corey, you're the expert on this.
Honestly, I haven't dealt with Samsung products for a couple of years because I haven't been. That's just a really high price for what we were getting. I don't know if we looked at other quotes, but that's really high based on anything I know of Samsung units. I literally used to be a distributor either of them. I'm very familiar with the pricing. I feel like that's quite a bit high. Maybe it's changed that much in 2 years, but I'm very skeptical.
Well, everything, honestly, you're right there. Everything has gone through the roof.
I realize, but I'm still a little skeptical. I don't know. I'm assuming we full sourced it. We haven't talked to anyone else. I think we probably should look at
Yeah,
maybe
I can look at it.
talking with some other people. I feel like that's quite a bit high, to say the least.
LPH is basically the main contractor with the building.
Doesn't mean that their price is any good.
No, it doesn't, fair enough.
And the rubber flooring, would that go to another year, or it's not as?
We could table it for, I don't think it's that much. And if we're looking at doing that, facility upgrade.
Is there anybody else that would even put in a quote?
It's tricky. I mean, we can ask, I can ask for sure. LPH did say like the labor rates that they quoted, they would not, like if we brought in our own products, they would not quote.
I can give you a dozen different people who will give you quotes tomorrow. Like, that's not a hard problem to solve at all.
What's the wish of council? What do you want to do? Do you want to send out for some more quotes? Don't see what Don, you got a comment on that?
Council has provided that concern, so we will address that concern, and if, Council would be happy to forward me those.
I have, any number of names you want, I can get you as many numbers as you would like.
And we do have attached the, specs in here, so, for you, but, we can have those names, Council Corey, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, and like I said, maybe it actually has went up that much,
Yeah.
but that'd be a hell of a lot more than I would be expecting.
Okay, that's not a problem, sir.
Do you want to make a motion to that effect, Glenn, or to go out for more quotes? Or,
Sure.
I think that's what you're probably looking for, or do you want to just?
Worship City Council, just a motion for administration to come back to the next council meeting with, just direct administration to further source,
Yeah, just
more pricing.
I move to direct administration to confirm satisfactory pricing from current vendor at least, and verify that it's on market value.
All right, thank you. I mean, there's not Kelly, there's not an urgent need for it today. I mean, another month's not gonna hurt it, right?
No.
Okay, thank you. I think probably their quotes are good for 30 days or 60 days, so. Okay, I've got a motion, all in favor? Kelly, you're all in favor?
Shelley?
Sorry, yes.
All right, on to the next item, we're going to the new business, 8.1, ATCO franchise fee, pre-approval process. Anything you want to talk about this, or?
No, absolutely, Your Worship, ask the director, John, Chief Financial Officer, I hereby hand the mantle back to CFO. So the government has changed their rates off a new agreement. And so we have to do a bunch of things. But first of all, we have to reaffirm that we want to keep it at 35%. And then we can go on with their process so that we don't lose our franchise agreement and have to review it. So we are asking that the resolution to approve the franchise fee is encouraged the advertising process following.
Anybody have any? Corey?
Well, as I said, every time it's
How many
taken the
times
last 7 years,
7 years.
I feel like it's a very shady backdoor hidden tax. We are just adding a tax to residents' utility bills. That frankly, yes, I understand we use that money for things, but that money would be better put on the actual tax bills. It would be equally distributed, including on vacant properties as well then. I feel like these should be reduced to 0 instead of kept at the maximum. So I'm opposed to any franchise fee on that premise.
Okay, thank you for that. Anybody would like to make a motion to, administration, they recommend that we approve the franchise, so I guess if we have a motion to that, then we'll move on.
Shelley?
I'll be happy to make a motion to
Yeah, you're just gonna-
change it to 0.
That's it, yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to support my motion, but,
Well, and again, franchise fees are charged to everybody that gets a utility bill, so
everyone
schools.
gets a utility bill,
Right,
but not anyone who has a vacant property.
no. So, but schools and churches and all those people get utility bills and they do not pay for it. So, this is how you. Now, I know it's not, it's spread out over a bunch of people, but.
And it's a tax that we are levying against our residents. We're just trying to hide it in the bill from EPCOR or NMAX or whoever, instead of just taking ownership of, yes, we're taxing you. We should just own it and be upfront about that.
Well, I mean, the sad reality is if we don't do it, then we have to come up with $131,000, and what does that translate to?
Oh, well, and then you
Well,
have.
but we're taxing that either way. It's not like we're charging more tax. We would just be being honest about the tax we're charging.
And then you have the four different ones. So our franchise fees are about.
But it's not under the table because it is advertised that we do this and people are aware if they read.
If they choose to go to their way to be aware, then yes, they can just determine that is the case, but most people, I don't think, are truly aware that it is a fee imposed by us, that is levied by the utility and forwarded directly back to us. I don't think most people understand that.
That would be a 15% tax.
Like I say, it's not a tax increase in my opinion, it is
No,
just
I
it is the same tax we are already charging.
The money's paid either which way.
It actually says it on the bill that it's collected for the town of Thorsby.
It does say that on the bill,
Yeah.
I would move that we just follow suit with the usual format that we've done and go forward with that.
Thank you. All in favor? Shelley?
Yes.
All right, opposed? All right, it's carried, thank you. All right, then the same thing with Fortis, and they are, I believe, if you want to say what they are, go through that one as well, if you don't mind, Cindy?
Yeah, so during the November 11, 2022 regular meeting of council, a franchise fee increase was passed via motion to increase our fee percentage to the maximum of 20% allowed. The franchise fee was reaffirmed during the August 24, 2023 regular meeting. At this time, the administration is not proposing a change. So the estimated franchise revenue for 2025 from Fortis is $199,000. So administration recommends council consider a resolution to reapprove the franchise fees at the current percentage.
Yes. And if anybody is interested, there's a list of what every municipality is in there.
And there's zero.
There's some with zero, and I'm just looking, Calmer's at 20.
Well, we are at the maximum, yes, nobody could be more than us because we are at the maximum.
Correct. I'm just saying, if anybody's interested, we can have the breakdown of all of the other municipalities. So once again, if I could get a motion.
I would make a similar motion to what I just made.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
You opposed? And it is carried. Thank you. 8.3, Yellowhead Regional Library Draft Budget and Trustee Appointment Information. And, Donna, you want to talk about this one as well?
I can, Your Worship. It's more of an information bulletin. About a year and a half ago, we were chastised a bit from the provincial government because we did not do the proper, at our organizational meeting, I think it was the first year we were here, second year that we were here, first year, that we did not do the appointment of the trustees appropriately.
So we did an alternate, was that what's the problem, because we did the alternate? Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. And we didn't do the proper wording, et cetera. So each member municipality is required to have an appointed board member representative for the municipality. And currently with the Yellowhead Library, actually, Councillor Corey and I have been doing those responsibilities. We're Councillor Corey now. But with the upcoming organizational meeting in October, it's prudent to consider who will be the Yellowhead Library representative. It's very succinct in this document how they have all their information here, but it's very succinct in how we word the appointment of the trustee, the board member, and that's towards the back. Basically, it talks about how we appoint and the language we use. So, and that's under the library's regulation. So it's an information it's an information request for you. It talks about their financials, and it just gets us thinking about the organizational meeting coming up next month.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's
And
9
that's
pages of
generally-
this, and it's all their financial papers in there. And-
Yes, that's correct.
And, any comments or questions about it?
That meeting is generally a daytime meeting, right?
Usually, yeah, Monday mornings.
Yep.
Yeah. I did most of mine virtually. When I attended.
All right, so it's just for information, so if I get a motion to accept the information provided by the Elred Regional Library?
Yeah, sure, I move to accept the information presented, the draft budget and the trustee appointee information from the Elad Regional Library.
Thank you, Corey, all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you, that is carried. All right, 8.4, bulk water station.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just an update on the Flow Point Bulk Water Station. I'm doing everything old school tonight, a little bit. We have signed the construction drawings, Andrew and I, with our engineer oversight, and approved them. Basically, this is what it's going to look like. The second arm on this side will come next year, but that's kind of what it's going to look like outside the building, and then, of course, internals. I'm going to pass this around, but you kind of can see it. So it'll be one arm for this year. Next year, it'll be 2 overhead arms.
I can't imagine there's gonna be enough demand that it would matter, but why, what's the,
For the second arm.
yeah,
We don't have to put it on, but the building is built to add one if we need to.
no, I guess I was I can't imagine it's actually an issue over the winter, but I was wondering if there's a reason why we're waiting, so.
Oh, because it's $75,000.
Okay, so yeah, it was just,
Sorry.
okay,
Yeah, good reason.
just clarifying the why,
Yep, that's great, thank you for that, yeah. They've completely constructed the shack so it will hold it, so they don't have to wreck anything. The plumbing and everything will be in there. It will have, the second overhead will be a 3-inch female cam lock. The overhead that we have now will be a 3-inch female cam lock. There'll be a 3/4-inch bottle bucket trailer fill and a side truck fill of a 3-inch cam lock. Has a wide access terminal with space for future credit card and printer upgrades, so that will go in it. But once we're ready to put the card system in, it will go in there, so we don't have to build that. And the Thorsby decal to be placed on door and above Flow Point logo vector image will be provided. So they advertise it so that we will just have a bigger decal. That's all on the door. And so it's, we signed off on those. We're waiting for a confirmation from them when touchdown is coming. And then our engineers start ramping up the tender process and so forth to get the site prepared for plumbing, piping, and that sort of thing, and the cement pad and so forth, and fencing and all that kind of thing. So pretty exciting. We're hoping for touchdown in November, so it just depends on their production schedule. It's pretty, it's a lot of fun.
When do we, I don't want to put you in the spot here, but when do we think we're going to start doing some groundwork?
Once I have a date, I sent them information today to give me a date of when the station's coming, then we'll backcast it from there and we'll set out a plan. And Jared will have a plan as well for the tendering, so we're going to go backwards from the time that they're going to deliver.
Yeah, we have to start getting the move on, just because frost
We do.
soon, but.
We do, yeah. Once I have that date, we can start fencing. We'll just notify our next spot, we'll start fencing.
Thank you.
And the card system, is that through Wi-Fi or internet, or do you have to?
That will be internet, and it goes through their cloud system, and folks can use a credit card or a debit card in it only. All the account holders will have their own accounts. There'll be no fobs, so they load and unload their accounts with money as they need to. They control that themselves, and we have to look at some actuarial things with council. We'll do that through budget process. We'll have a chat with you about that, or maybe sooner, maybe in October, maybe at the regular, or Cal in October.
I know we talked a little before about, like, yeah, that in, like, dealing with the, like, the billing system and everything, like, I'm assuming obviously, like, support and upgrades and everything is through them as well, and included for some duration of time?
Yeah, they're servicing and all that, and the upgrades and the training of our team and so
Yeah,
forth.
we have
is
I don't know, at
complimentary.
least several years, I'm assuming, of software, you know, and upkeep.
They're doing an upgrade. I think the upgrade will be ready in another year. They're working on version 2 of this.
Yeah,
So, they'll notify us in about 18 months.
okay.
But they train, they troubleshoot, they fix.
Yeah, I just get worried when it's proprietary sort of kind of
Yeah.
niche software that, you know, somebody they're gonna stick us some weird big bill 6 months down the road when their software doesn't work.
No, they have that in writing.
Okay, perfect.
Because you're always in my ear, Counselor Curry, I'm always asking you questions. It's all good though. So, yeah, no, they've been very, very great to work with. We've decided that the billing will come into a different email, sorry, billing, but any updates, any queries will be waterinfo@thorsby.ca, and Cheryl's put in for that email. That way, Cheryl's not getting all the emails for water and stuff. It's all segregated, and that way we keep track of it. And Cindy will do all the, and Cheryl will look after all the who goes where to what and what does where to who when it comes in as far as the billing. They have to come out and they're going to do some more training for us once it's getting closer to touchdown time, so we can get that ready. One of the things we have to discuss with council is the actuarial component. We have some ideas, but I'm not really wanting to discuss that in open council. We're just kind of thinking about some proposals for you to consider. So we do know for a fact, though, that anybody just wanting a little bit of water or filling their trailer or whatever, it won't be less than what the residents are paying now. It'll be $6 a cube.
I've been out there.
Casual use.
Several inquiries, and actually nobody's asked anything about water. They're just saying, or the price, they're saying, when is it gonna be open?
Yeah.
I have several farmers that phoned me already.
I had 2 phone calls actually yesterday and one early this morning. Somebody's on my truck here and the phone rang. So what do you do? Once they told me what they want, I said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just building in your bulk water station. It's all good. I'm just putting the last nuts and bolts. So, it's exciting. Really exciting actually, and it'll look good.
With the existing, Phil, I guess kind of less than ideal. Are we planning to try and just discontinue that right away, or is that going to be open for a period still, or transition or something? I don't know.
I think we're, Andrew, if you'd like to speak to that.
So ultimately, what I'd like to do is leave it open for a period, a small period
Yeah,
of
okay,
time.
some sort of transition,
Yeah.
because I could see that coming up where people are going to be showing up at my door yelling, well, where'd the bulk station go? I want to go fill up.
Yeah, again, with the advertising for it and stuff like that, we hope to have lots of signs to direct people on where the new bulk water station is. But at the same time, I'd like to have the old one still open for a little bit, just to
Work out the kinks.
work out the kinks, and if anything does happen to have hiccups in the process of getting this all set up, we still have something available for.
Well, sorry, Andrew. We'll also do construction updates on our webpage. They're going to give us progress pictures, so we'll do construction updates of the build and let folks know what we're doing when we're doing it, whether we're fencing, whether we're doing whatever. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a great project.
Thank you. Just, I guess, you motion to accept that for information.
Please,
Yeah,
Your Worship.
sure.
All right, all in favor? Shelley?
Shelley?
Sorry, guys. Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go into administration, 11.1, the variance report for August 2024. CFO Cindy, please.
All right, so for after 8 months, we are at 76.5% of revenue. And 56% of expenses. So we're doing pretty good. Knock on wood, no water main break.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the biggest discrepancy revenue-wise, at least, is just Parks and Rec, which obviously ice time and stuff is just starting to kick
Well,
in
and the
now.
grant from
For the county.
the county, which came in September. so.
Yeah, okay, fair enough, yeah. I was assuming a lot of it's gonna be ice time as well.
And that as well,
And
yeah.
obviously, we're just starting that, so I'm assuming, like, so, okay, so that and the grant is kind of the big,
Yeah, the
Big
big
thing.
discrepancy there, yeah. Yeah,
Question?
because under general services, like it's 375,000, which is pretty much the grant from
okay.
the county, so. Well, we
Yeah.
got half of already, right, like it came in.
Council, any questions?
Got it.
Yeah, they gave us 245,000 already, so.
All right, thank you, Cindy. Motion to accept the variance report for information.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. 11.2, the motion tracker for Q3 of 2024.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll just speak to the in progress and pending of, since 2023-12-12 through to 2024-06-25, regular. All motions, resolutions, I apologize, all resolutions that council has asked us to complete have been completed, sent, and either moved back to council for discussion, information, or follow-up. We do have a lease negotiation that's still in progress, hence it's highlighted in yellow. We have the Citizens on Patrol delegation that's still pending. We're just leaving it there as pending. It's in hiatus until they decide what they would like to do, and that's fair. And then their assessment review board is pending because the training dates for 2025 for Mr. Coffenroth and Mayor Hobson aren't available for the assessment review board.
Thank you.
I thought they normally offered them in like the winter here, like in like November, December, no?
Usually, but we haven't got any notice of them so far. So even if the new SDAB has come out.
Oh, well, oh, no, that's a refresher. I was gonna say there's one tomorrow I found, but that's a refresher, I think. I'm not sure.
Madam Clerk has just informed me that she spoke to the folks today, and they're going to send it out to her, so they've obviously released it when we were doing this. She didn't give dates, did she, Madam Clerk? Thank you.
Yeah, I just was surprised to see that he said there was, because I thought they were always in November, December.
Usually they are, even at the SDAB training
I
too.
thought so.
Yeah, that was a new update. Thank you, Madam Clerk, I appreciate that.
All right. Anything else on the motion tracker?
No, we certainly cut it down from when we first got here, but when we first got out here, we wanted you to know everything we were doing because we just got here. So, these are all the action items. And for just a real high synopsis for the gallery's perspective, we do quite a bit of things, but we've done the bachelor program from Miss Ellison. We organized that along with her support, and the buckets are filling up quite nicely. We have the Duke County Recreation Cost Share Agreement was completed. Taylor Park Upgrade Ideas delegation by Ms. Rempel. 75th anniversary celebrations. Citizen on Patrol delegation. Taylor Park Fair statue trademark discussion. Sale of patrol vehicle to Calmar because we contract with Calmar. 2024 budget requests. NFP, I've missed that. Madam Clerk, NFP, what is that?
National Police Federation.
Thank you, National Police Federation, awesome, appreciate it. And the new audit standards, independent elections to municipalities, so we passed a resolution through, the council passed a resolution, we passed a letter through to Cabinet. National Police Federation, letter of support, police funding in Alberta for the new budget. Assessment Review Board member courses, 2024 spring budget adjustments, yearly tax increases, and so on. So these are the more pertinent motions that administration is directed by council to follow, and that's just some of the stuff we do on a daily basis. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Do I get a motion to accept the motion tracker for information?
Sure.
Thanks, Corey. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. That is carried. All right. Moving along here to correspondence. We have a letter from CPR Railway, hey Donna, you wanna tell us what they're after?
We can, the Canadian Pacific Railway has decommissioned the traffic signals, the train signals. I hate supper, but, has decommissioned the traffic signals on the tracks. They are decommissioned with, dark plastic bags. I immediately got a hold of CPR to determine if that meant just the signal crossings were decommissioned or the track was decommissioned. It was the fastest response by them in history. Within minutes of my email, I received an email back indicating the track is not decommissioned, and they have no plans to decommission it, just the signal, so they don't have to come out once a month and test them.
See, but they do have plans, so it's literally been on their 5-year list of decommission, like tracks they plan on decommissioning within 5 years. It's been on that list since either 99 or 2000.
Exactly.
So like they do have plans, so he's telling me something that's contrary to their published documentation.
That's right. He just didn't give me a date when the plans will be enacted.
It'll just keep being.
It's been 20 years in waiting for this 5-year plan.
Can you tell us about this, Andrew?
Yes, so the tracks will not be decommissioned because there is talks of the tracks being reused, but not past 52nd Street.
Oh.
Okay.
There's talks of it, that's why it's been put in the decommission plans for like,
Yeah,
how many
it's
years
just
now?
gonna cost them money, and so they're just deferring it.
To me, they're more or less trying to find somebody else to pay for it.
Yeah.
So.
I was very impressed with their response to my email, though, within, I'd say 15, 20 minutes.
One thing, you got some names there now, Donna, like,
I do.
we haven't been able to get anybody in the past, so, you get, some people you can at least fire some correspondence to.
Gary got back to me real quick, and now I have Mr. Blair, regional director, so it's a good thing.
Okay. Anybody have any comments from the council, no? Not, motion to accept information, correspondence?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so, wow, that's kind of it for the agenda. We've got a couple of, in-camera things, legal and personnel, but if the public has any comments here, go ahead, Debbie.
I brought up having our alley graded.
Yes.
I was told that they've never been graded, and the citizens of Thorsby built their own back alleys. I'm telling you, BS. That alley was built when the person who developed that area built our alley.
Who did?
I don't know who built that area over there.
But a private developer, not the town.
Right. And our back alleys were graded every winter until 1992, when Elaine Solberg then took over. Your uncle was one of our grader
I know it
officers.
was, yeah. I know.
Like Sam said, his alley was graded 2 to 3 times a week. Why? Because your uncle graded it.
Well,
He also graded, behind my son's house. He was on 52nd Avenue, which is now 778, or whatever, so between that and 51st Street, I think. Yeah, the back alley there. That used to be graded, and Carl came here in 1991, and that was always graded.
I think, you know, not in defense, but I mean, I don't recall anybody ever building a back alley, but I mean, I think the point, Debbie, that we were trying to make is that all the back alleys are undeveloped, right?
They're undeveloped languages.
And that's,
The alley behind my son's house was developed. The alley behind where the old TransAlta office was developed all the way from the hotel, all the way to my house.
Yeah. But
And you have let the councilors from 2092 have let this town go to the shit. Our alleys are no longer, my alley is getting potholes. I want that alley graded before anything happens to it. It's lasted 48 years. and you aren't looking after them, so they're gonna get trashed.
Well, I think, Donna, you were gonna look at trying to find some of those bylaws, if I'm not mistaken, or something to that effect.
Your worship, I have been looking, I'll be honest with you, I've been looking for correspondence to way back then. I will say my search is still ongoing.
Yeah.
I've got council meeting minutes from 1959 in my office, right up to I think, I better not say, but anyways, they're ancient, full of dust, and I've been going through them when I have a few spare minutes to see what the rules were back then. So I will say, Debbie, from my perspective, it's pending. So I find some documentation. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just, I'm not looking for 8 hours a day, that's all. So
I will say this, and I'm quite certain that somewhere, sometime along the way, there was a bylaw that made it that way, undeveloped. That's all I'm gonna say. Not in our time and not anything that I recall, but I'm quite sure that somewhere down the line, there's something to that effect, and if Donna can find it.
Well, we can also change it and do whatever we want, but there is always a cost, there's time, there's resources, there's logistics involved. So regardless, it will involve more effort than just saying do it, right? It's not as simple as just saying grade every back alley. We can't get people to not park blocking the alleys. We can't get people to stop building sheds in the middle of the alleys.
Yes.
So there's more, it's easier said than done to just say, we're just suddenly gonna just start plowing all the alleys. It's not as simple as that, even if we wanted to.
no, Your
So
worship.
why aren't you plowing the alley? Is it because of cost or what?
It's because they're private, undeveloped laneways, almost universally through town. Maybe you're saying you have an exception, and Donna's gonna look into that, and that's wonderful, but almost universally, they are officially designated as private, undeveloped laneways. They're essentially easements that people have decided to utilize. And so then, people have built sheds on them, people use them as their own private
That is
parking.
over by.
It's all over the place. So now all of a sudden, people are gonna say, well, why are you plowing my, because it's been an accumulation over decades. And so now we have to try to.
You as a councilman brought this up.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to defend
Yeah.
them,
No,
because I don't know.
but it's not
you're
a
saying
legitimate right now,
that
yeah.
sheds are being built in the alleys and stuff. Why is somebody not checking that?
Because it has been an ongoing issue that's not solved overnight, is the problem.
I get that, I understand that, but.
So it's not easy to just say, just start doing all the laneways. We can't have a universal policy to plow or grade laneways that we can't even access because we are still dealing with some of these issues. So even if we wanted to grade them all, most of them are not in a state where they could be graded, and if they were at one point, that's inconsequential to today, and you still have to have them unobstructed. We have to deal with this backlog of issues that relate to laneways, even if we wanted to. It's not as simple as just saying grade.
So Andrew, you're the grader operator, you tell us.
So we don't grade back out. That's what I got informed of when I first started. Part of the issue with that is the grader doesn't fit down all the back alleys because of the power lines. Most power lines in the houses, most.
Behind my house it does. I know that for a fact.
I'm telling you, I have never taken the grader down your back alley.
Well, you know what, there was a man here named John Brosney, who was our grader operator, that graded this whole town in no time flat, and that was our alleys and everything. The grader fit down the alley then, why doesn't it now?
Bigger grader. Bigger grader. I will say, if I may, Mr. Curley, to council, worship, and through, a lot of them are utility corridors, for sure, and some of the structures that have been built on them were here before we got here. So, we're leaving them alone for now. No structures have been built under our watch. We won't allow it.
That's what it is.
Yeah, we won't allow it. I can honestly say taking down a structure is not fun. I had to take down a house in a utility corridor, a whole house. And I had to take out gardens and everything else when these came on. When the houses are sold, though, there's a lot of times there's a non-conforming because they're in the utility corridor. So when Fortis comes, they have carte blanche, and they have to return the corridors to their own system. So that's kind of the reasoning. I have no excuses. I just I just know what we're trying to do.
I don't know why they aren't being done, because Corey, you guys started that when you were on council last time.
Yes.
And went and made people move stuff.
And I can only imagine the uproar out here if your shed was encroaching in the laneway and we bulldozed it down, Debbie. It's not as simple as just bulldozing something because it's in the
I have
laneway.
more sense than to build where I'm not.
But not everyone does, and some of these things have been there for years.
Phyllis, you had a question back there, ex-mayor Phyllis.
Why is there such a fuss about this? Yes, we did when I was on council, we did the alleys. And has anybody driven down to see how these alleys are, what condition they're in? Has anybody?
I do my town
Which
around.
one did you go to?
I've been to the one behind Debbie's, I can't give you that address.
And Debbie's isn't really that bad.
No.
It's got potholes.
Yeah, it does.
And there's only one more, and that is, I think with John, at the back of John Ellison's, where there's, it's quite deep. But all the other ones that I went to today, I drove around, and I saw all the garages that have, you know.
Encroached.
So there had to be a reason why the alleys were done in the first place. And you're making such a fuss about all this. Do the bloody back alleys. Gee, goodness.
Your worship, through to Mayor Phillips, love to. We're on a real tight budget. And, if, speaking as a CEO, if I had more money, I would do it. There's no
Where is
problem.
our money going? I don't see anything that's gotten done in this town, so where is the money going?
I can help you out there, through the mayor, through Debbie. We've had to spend just about $178,000 on 2 new river pumps for our intake. We've been operating for almost 9 years with 1 river pump, so our water supply, has been in danger, I'll say it that way. We've had a big valve failure at our wet well at the river intake. In other words, when you have to exercise valves, this has allowed you to build up a sediment over the last 15 years, the valve failed. So we've had to design something to shut the water off so we can get the commercial divers in to fix the valve, and then we can get all the sediment out, and then we can use that valve. So that's 2. We've had 2 lift station pumps fail at the sewage lift station. They were never maintained, and they were so badly damaged, the impellers that chew the sewage and everything that goes through, there was just holes where these grinders were. It was very sad. So that's just about, probably 100,000 right there. Yeah. We put in new membranes in the water treatment plant in what we call the trains, or the big filter system. They were allowed over the years to be ignored. That was around 176,000.
Well, they're at the end of their lifespan. They actually just have a lifespan, and they have reached it.
They do, and they reached it, and they reached it a while ago. We had to just have to pull the pump at the raw water ponds. We're still trying to figure out if the pump failed. We think it's the shaft that failed, so that's a 25-foot shaft that we have to fix. That's around 30,000 to fix. We've had 7 water breaks, so they're roughly, if we're lucky, 8 to 10,000. Most are 30 to 40,000 to fix. So all that we're doing is underground. That's the hard part, right? I will say that end of October, November the whole boulevard will be coming out. All those rocks and everything will be coming out. All the trees will be coming down because they're interfering in our sewer mains. That will all be covered in loam. It will be grass seeded, and new trees will be planted that aren't near sewer mains. The old water treatment plant was never destroyed. That is coming down in October. It should have been down a long time ago and salvaged. I think here, I'm just running through my brain. Of course, our bulk water station, so we can get income. That's grant money. That's income from taxpayers' money. We operate in about a $4 million budget. Last year, we entertained a surplus of about $26,000. Which is good. That's, as Councilor Corey wants, it's good cash management, and we're working towards that. We have old trucks in public works. We've got to replace trucks this year. We're looking at leasing some of our big equipment because we really don't need to be paying, we have to pay lease payments, but we don't need to pay the maintenance, everything on graders, skid steers, loaders, and so forth.
Debenture payments.
We've got debenture payments. We're 2.1, 6.1 million roughly in debentures, when you get a loan from the provincial government, it's called a debenture. So we are paying just about $360,000 a year for debenture payments. We want to get rid of that. To tell you where your money went a few years ago, quite a few years ago, before Councillor Corey's time on council, they debentured an $8,000 lawnmower. Nobody does that. You can't buy it, don't debenture it, right? We're still paying for it.
We're still paying for the $8 million water plant.
Yeah, that's idle. That's sat idle for 11 years, yeah, big water plant, right, that we built, that's sat idle for 11 years. We're working on that, and it shall sit idle no more. When we can announce to you what we're doing, we will. Right now, we're working on a big project with that too.
So is the water gonna be drinkable finally?
The water is drinkable.
No, it's not. When I see people showing brown water, they're coming out of their tap
Yeah.
and in their bathtub, this isn't drinkable. When I know people in your office are buying water dispensers, they gotta buy bottled water for that. So,
I can tell you what happens there, Debbie, and again, a lot of our water system has dead ends in it, right? It never was looped. There's quite a few places that it should have been looped and it wasn't. They put in a dead end. When you put in a dead end, the water stays and it collects. That's why we flush hydrants, that's why we flush the sewers. We're gonna be doing that starting Monday, or Tuesday, I guess, we're flushing. So then we tell residents, run your taps for a while for the next 2 weeks because you are gonna get brown as we flush the stuff out of it. A proper water system doesn't have a ton of dead ends. So, we have to do it twice a year, and if some places are bad, we have to do it more. Our water is tested every Wednesday, it's taken to the lab, and it is tested for about 15 different or 30 different things. And it is coming out, not only our water is tested, but our lagoon system is tested. Our water is higher than Alberta environment requires. Our secondary cell on our lagoon, and what we call our brown affluent water, is if we treated it a tiny bit more, we could drink it. And that's the second stage that we sell for brown water. So, which is a testament to Dave's work at the water treatment plant. Sadly, and I will say this in open council, sadly, when that water treatment plant was built, it sat on idle for 11 and a half years. And there was no plan to, I don't know if there was no plan, I gotta be careful with my words. Nothing happened with it, I'll say it that way. I'm blaming statement is truth, you all know it. It pumps about 300,000 gallons a month or a year, and you're just correct me, a year? No, more than that.
300,000 gallons.
Oh, sorry, I'm operating on gallons a month, right? So it's the equivalent, that big water treatment plant, of you driving to the grocery store with your car, picking up your groceries, coming back with your car, parking it in your garage and leaving it idle for a year. So if there's wear and tear on the system, right? So, they're starting to get that more under control, and as we move on with, we have the study done now that says we can distribute water, that it will pump it with a couple, 3 lift stations, so we're working very diligently on that. We hope to have some sort of announcement, probably by spring, which will be positive.
does that mean our water will go down?
It will mean a lot of things. I won't guarantee anything, but it will mean a lot of good things for the town, right? We're doing this for the purpose of Thorsby. You guys deserve it. You really do deserve it. But in all things, this project we're working on is humongous. And so we're working through all the little things. Before we enact it, the minister requires us to have a town hall meeting when we're ready. So you will only ratepayers, basically, people that pay their taxes here, not that have a box number here, will be invited into the town hall meeting, and we lay it all out for you, along with the lawyers and everybody. So you will totally be informed. I'd love to tell you more, but we're just in those kind of stages right now. So we're working on that. We're working on, we know we got a bad road over by where the Oxleys live. We know that. It is destroyed. As soon as we fill the potholes, the gravel comes up, because there is no gravel bed. So our engineers have worked on a system with us for next year. If we have the money or grant money, about $300,000 will not fix that road, but it'll make it better for a while. And they do that up north quite a bit, and it lasts about 10 to 15 years. So, and it doesn't, you don't have to dig up the road huge, right? So there's that we're working on. what else can I tell you? We did plant flowers this year, we thought we'd give you flowers. Rest is underground, they're beautiful. Yeah, the hunter planted them, and that's a nice thing. But we're trying very hard not to spend on the frilly things. It's really difficult when you have to spend on infrastructure and when you have to spend on repairs. Nobody sees that, right? I get that. It's not much fun. It's not much fun. I can rest assure you, if anybody wants to come in and look at our GLs and take a look at what's in the budget or come to the budget meetings, we welcome you, absolutely. We don't, we'll spend money on marketing the new bulk station in an appropriate way because that logo now is our brand, and that logo will be everywhere. We got the industrial lot smoke this summer. Did you drive by there? Oh, better go look. It was amazing.
I know that way.
No, that's, when you first come into Thorsby from Leduc, and you turn on the industrial road here on the inside, go take a little
The
look.
old farm center property
Yeah,
there.
the old farm, yeah, and down through there, all over against the highway, all those lot owners, whether they have anything on it or not, mowed everything this year. We got after it, clean it up. We can't sell it, neither can you, if it looks like a weed patch.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing.
I hope you get after CN to clean their garbage up.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Well, now you have me.
Maybe I'll send Gary another email.
Yes,
After
tell them
right
some
away.
of your residents are getting quite
Okay.
ticked off with the garbage,
Okay.
the weeds. Why can't they fix that up all the way from Main Street?
Excuse me.
Oh, not Main Street, but, the highway.
Their whole right away.
The whole thing is nothing but weeds.
Yeah.
That looks terrible.
It does, it looks nasty, we can only mow so far. We could do all the mowing we wanted, I suppose, we only mow so far because it is very heavy. CP Police in Canada have 75 police officers, that's it. And they're never around, because they're all across Canada, except,
I'm gonna ask my son if he knows one of them, and I'm gonna
Absolutely.
phone him.
about 3 years ago, they caught poor Dave going across from the, water treatment plant to the raw water plant. He was walking on the track and a CN police officer happened to show up at that exact moment.
Why
and
didn't
told
you
him to
tell
get off
him
the
to
track.
check his own
Remarkable.
garbage first?
So, we have two of our staff members in Public Works getting their level 1 wastewater testing. They've been studying hard, and they're going after that. Kelly's made a ton of improvements. Sorry, this is comfortable, so don't take anything into this. Kelly's made a ton of improvements in the rec center that were kind of left to flounder, that she's constantly looking after that, so we're upgrading that. If I missed anything, team?
Who's trying to recover from us?
Well, how many little, I mean, you can get into every nut and bolt a person wants, but the budgets are all there, and I know you've seen most of them.
Yeah.
We just went over the variance report today. I'm sure if you have specific questions, you know,
I'll answer.
there's answers for them, but,
Donna, going back to the water, just quickly.
Yep.
I don't smell it. I was saying when you turn the taps on,
Mm-hmm.
he smells it. He said it smells terrible. You
Like
can't breathe
chlorine.
it. I can't smell it, so I can't say. It could be his medications or something that changes that. I don't know.
Your worship, through Irene, it depends on the river, and Andrew's gonna fill in for me if I miss something. It depends on the river, it's called turbidity. And so when the river's running fast, you're gonna get silt buildup, and you're going to get logs and debris buildup, right? Hence why we treat. You could dump a ton of chlorine, and then you might taste chlorine, but we gotta be careful how much, chemical we put in it. Sometimes it's because of the pipe, sometimes because of the dead end. Sometimes the river's just kind of nasty with us. And you might get that sometimes if, the river's not running fast enough either. So, the river dictates sometimes, but the water is safe. There is, sometimes a earthy smell to it, sometimes. Just let it run for a bit out of your tap. But we have to adhere to the highest standards. I was here last year when a Marine Environment came out to give us our audit. I made sure I sat in it. We walked all the ponds with them. We walked the sewage lift station, or the sewage ponds and everything. The first time they ever had a CAO walk with them, so they're a little intimidated, which is kind of fun. But we had a couple things to fix, but more because they had to find something wrong. That was it. But our water quality was excellent. I sit with Dave monthly when he gets reports. I have no idea what they mean, but he and I talk about it, so I have an understanding of what those reports mean. And we're coming in higher than we should on water quality, but the river plays tricks on us. And sometimes we can fix it, sometimes we can't. So just run your tap for longer.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd like to give you all new pipes.
I don't know, because I can't smell it.
I know it's chlorine, lots of different.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, sometimes it is chlorine, and Debbie, if you can give me about 50 million, we'll change all the pipes in this town.
Oh, no, I got my own water system I use. I got a big lot.
We actually use a chloramine system, not chlorine.
That's right.
So it actually, if you're saying it smells like chlorine, it's not from the water, because we don't actually use chlorine. It's actually a similar but different chemical, and it doesn't give you that same smell.
I just thought it was made in the medication.
It's actually, honestly, Debbie, we can go over the chemistry of it if you want, but it's actually a different process.
It smells like chlorine, Corey. You flush your toilet, it smells like chlorine. You run your shower, it smells like chlorine. I don't know if that's when they're just treating or what, but I don't think
What is the chemical you currently use?
It's a chloramine flocculation system.
So you don't know the name?
I'm not sure what you're asking. What do you mean? Like, I don't know the brand of chemical.
Yeah, there should be a brand of chemical.
No, I'm not, that's not my department at all. You'd have to
No,
go, I don't know the manufacturer and but no, like I say, it's a chloramine-based flocculation system.
Yeah. A lot of times over a wellhead, if you just have a wellhead, you use a SCADA system, right? And then that's the chlorine treatment and the other things. But with the chloramine system we have, it was more sophisticated back in 2011. I can get that answer for you if you want. Not a problem.
No, I was just trying to help them clarify, because, yeah, you can smoke different places in town,
Yeah.
different smells.
Yeah, that's right.
But I understand the water system because of putting it in, so. What you don't see is underground, it's buried. That's the hard part.
It is. And it's tough for, Your Worship, if you don't mind, it's tough for a small town like this where, when we came in, when mayor and council asked us to come in, we're kind of the infrastructure team here. We want to make sure that where your body lives, works, and plays, works. And it's not easy. It's not a whole lot of fun. But we know with the bulk water station, if other things are happening, we have to bring income into the town as well. That's part of our mandate. But our other mandate is to fix, repair, and make sure everything's looked after. So as you ladies know, you can come and have coffee with me anytime, and I'll show you anything you want to know, and I'll get answers. Same with you, which you already know. Phyllis, you're in visiting all the time, so.
You know, Don, I don't have any of those smells that they're talking about in my water, so I don't know why not, or okay.
So you do get, sometimes there'll be kind of a dirt kind of.
Earthy, yeah, there's definitely can be odors attached to it, yeah.
I live in Beaumont.
Yeah.
And mine's rotten eggs every time you turn a tap on.
So no place is perfect.
Yeah.
No place is perfect.
You know, one thing you gotta remember, most of these, probably just about all of these water lines were put in the 50s and the 60s.
77, I think.
Yeah, I think way before that.
There is quite a few that are before
In the
that, but I
fifties,
think.
I think we started.
Ralph Otto, Phyllis, when did Ralph Otto,
75.
Yeah.
was it 75?
We moved here in 76,
Yeah.
and there was sewerage.
But there's some of them are older, like I know when the one by my place in our spas, when there was a break a couple of years ago, and they pulled it out, at the end of it was a wooden plug.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
I said this before the town of Rigby until last summer, their big stormwater system coming in from the north on Highway 20, and then 53 at the four-way stop running south was wood. Built in 1936. Wood. It hadn't disintegrated because it's all covered in pitch and everything. That's our storm sewer up there. So.
All right, any other questions, anybody?
Getting back to our alleys, actually. Like I said, today I went around, and I drove around, some of the backyards are horrendous. I don't know how they can live in those, how terrible those back alleys are. I mean, the backyards are, but your alleys are not. There's like, Debbie has some holes in there, and well, the other one, I think it was John, it has a little bit of, but the rest of them, I drove all over.
Were you able to get down that alley?
Yeah, I did, but I kind of,
Because that guy at the other end of that block usually has vehicles parked in it.
Mm-hmm.
at the end of that block is a big, trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and, you can't, so I turned around, but those are the only two alleys that are really bad, you know.
Did you go behind James's?
Hey,
Did you go behind James's? My
I-
son's?
I probably did, but I'm not sure.
He lives, across from the old United Church.
I think I did, but I'll go.
Because that's all grass now.
I'll check that, make sure, but, yours, yeah, right by, where Blair lives, where Rod and this here, there's a few.
Yeah, and down towards the trailers, I won't drive that out. I go as far as my house.
On the whole, they're not that bad.
I make
They should be.
But if they're not kept up, they're going to get bad.
Well, a lot of times too, the alleys, I'll just say this in closing, is they were never built as alleys, that's the problem. They were built as, utility corridors. So in order to maintain, we have to build them up. Otherwise, if we just gravel, it's all in your backyard, right? And so you have to have a camera and a candle to a road.
Guess what, my house is built out to step.
I know.
That's why we're up so
Yeah,
high.
we're up high there, yeah, for sure. And, I'll put it to you this way, eventually we'll try to fix them, yeah, I know. So, we did look after one back alley last winter because we had a medical emergency, so we were right there to look after the folks so they could get to the hospital. After Tracy was on station right away to help as well. So we do those kinds of things. If folks, tell us that they will put up the paper again this winter, that they are chronic or require assistance, or may need an ambulance, or that they'll get their car out to go for testing, we just ask that they register with us, and we kind of keep an eye on it a little bit.
As for snow removal with the back alleys, we try and, keep back alleys clear of snow. Just, I don't want somebody trying to back out of their garage that's in a back alley and end up in a snowbank.
But that's not considered grading, that's considered clearing?
Yeah, that's just clearing of the snow.
More courtesy then.
Correct.
I remember one year that, Lyle's, our mayor's uncle was doing it, and he was doing it down on 53rd, down at the branch of town. And John Hassan lived there, and he was shoveling his driveway out. And when Lyle went by, he just kind of swooped, came in. Well, I think before Lyle came back, he was reported. Dave Erickson was looking out the window at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he saw this little bit of a stretch. And, oh, really? But, yeah.
I got reported for speeding in the grader.
You're kidding.
Nope, somebody called me and told me that I was speeding in the grader. I started to laugh, I said, you realize that this thing only does 42 kilometers an hour downhill.
I want to put a post on my place. So them guys driving over my parking pad in the winter will get a surprise.
Yes, Irene, yes, sir?
Yeah, it's just sort of a concern, nothing too drastic. Councillor Miller, I know he works out of town, so it's hard for him to get back to meetings, but, and I understand when he does come into town, when he is in town, he'll come into the office and I'll get updated as to what has gone on. But that's not right, because if you're discussing something, he can't be involved in that discussion because he's not here. He's absent from meetings more than he attends meetings.
Go ahead, Corey.
That's unfortunately very similar to last term. I understand that you had, and I agreed with you in most regards, last term of council with people being away for winter.
Yeah,
Same applies here, but the same outcome is ultimately what you are going to get. There is very clear rules set out in the MGA and the Local Authority Election Act, that's what governs it, not us. We don't get a say. He hasn't ever missed enough meetings to be in violation of the legislation.
Well, when we were doing this once before, I was dealing with all the officials, and they were explaining to me what could be done, which wasn't done, to prevent somebody staying away. If you're going to be away for 5 months, 3 weeks and 6 days of the year, why apply to be a councillor? You can't.
I personally agree with you, but at the end of the day, it's not our prerogative to, he's within his rights, and he attends more than the minimum amount required under the legislation.
Yep. He's here for most of the regulars.
I don't know. I know when it was being discussed before, it was, I think, bylaw 191 or something like that. But the councillors could change that if they wanted to. It was possible for them. But it was just a thought that he can't join in any of the debates. He might disagree with every one of you. And is that fair to him? I don't know.
He meets the requirements. He did all the budget and special meetings, and he meets all the regular. Tonight he couldn't get away from work, but he does all the regular meetings.
It wasn't here last time I
That
was here.
was the committee of the whole.
So how many meetings are you allowed to miss?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if he misses 8 in a row, then he would be pushed out of council. That is what is in the MGA. Otherwise, you can miss as many meetings as you want, basically.
Yeah, you just can't miss 8 in a row, and he hasn't done that.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, I feel it's a very unreasonable threshold to hit, but at the same time, that is the threshold. It's set by the province, not by us.
Just remember, just remember the next election who you vote for is all.
I will be asking every councillor if they plan on being at every one of our meetings. And if not, they won't get my vote or my kids'.
Well, they have to cast their own vote. No, you can't cast votes for your kids.
Their mother tells them. Their mother tells them.
No more electronic, it's all gonna be paper and counted now.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
No, that's all for tonight.
I haven't missed any, Irene.
No, I've been watching.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Since Carol, it's just waiting.
Now you jinxed yourself, your worship.
Now, what would you do if you didn't come to these meetings? Even Kalmar was happy we went to their meeting.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, you wouldn't give Sean a hard time too?
No, we didn't even talk. They just said, "We're so thankful you ladies come to our meeting." I said, "I don't even live here, so." They were, "What are you doing at our meeting then?" I said, "You run it."
Any secrets we need to know about?
Yeah, well, what way you need, I'll go to some more of theirs.
All right, well, it's 8:15. I'm going to adjourn the meeting for 10 minutes. Back to John. Okay? All right, here we go.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, actually, 6 bucks. Oh, hey, do you mind putting some air?